Well, here we are, everybody. We have returned. Yes, we are back in business. And of course, we are going to be finishing out 1 Week Club. And we are going to be continuing with VIXX. So, today is going to be a lot of B covers. So, we're going to start off with Blackout with a live performance, because it's the only one that I found that actually had any sort of performance that I could find. So, we're going to be doing that first. Let's check this out. I feel like I'm getting back into the swing of things. This is nice. That's cool. Okay. That was cool. Whoa! Whoa! Oh, that's nice. Okay. That is sick. Now, truth be told, this type of music and this type of song isn't always my favorite, but I think this song actually does kind of work because it feels like there is a little bit more, I guess the word I'm thinking of is, I would say it has a little bit more stakes in it. There's a little bit more risk. There's a little bit more feeling of, it's not just smooth. It feels like that there is a little bit more dramatic feel to it, which I personally appreciate. I feel like that this song in of itself could have just pinned its hat on being kind of like that smoky, sexy kind of vibe. But they did kind of add some extra flair to it that I think, to me, really help push the song forward. I think if it hadn't had the extra stakes in it, this song probably would have just been like, yeah, it's fine. but I do think that it does help out. But I think for me, the true star of this song, if I'm being real, probably has to be the choreography. I thought the choreography on this was very, very cool. I mean, obviously, you know what part I'm going to be talking about first and foremost, which is this. Going for the double Shawn Michaels right there. That's actually so cool, though. What a move. And, like, that's one thing that I remember hearing a bit about. Like, if I'm being honest, I remember the very first scene that I thought was that this is kind of more of a Halloween-y group. I've said that kind of quite a few times, obviously, with their concept of being space vampires kind of picks that up. But if also at the same time, too, the one thing that I remember hearing the most about VIXX, so probably over everything, is probably the fact that they were a little bit more risque. And I think that that's fair, true. I mean, I have heard even some special extra features on the on their light stick. But I don't know. To me, it's like this choreography here kind of also, I could see why maybe they would think that, obviously, with the kind of more suggestive themes to the dance. But I think there's something more to it than this, because there is something to be said for maybe the act, I guess. Like, they could have just done it for the sake of doing those kind of more bigger and more suggestive themes, but you know what, at the same time too, they didn't pin their hat on it. We are actually getting something with a little bit extra substance, and I appreciate that, because as much as I don't mind when people decide to do something like that, I am always one who, you know, I kind of like to see that purpose being used a little bit more in depth, and that's what they do in this song and with this choreography. And yeah, I thought that was really cool. I thought that was very nice. I think the part that feels like that they're really putting in a little bit extra is kind of when they throw in these rap sections and then they kind of bridge it out with this kind of extra flourish that I've been talking about. That's what I think really also really helps with the song on the musicality side of things. Very nice. You get just this nice, dramatic, smooth feel to it all. It's very good. So, anyway, yeah, very cool. Let's move on to the next song. Next, we are moving on to What Are You Waiting For? As a B-side. We know we're getting in deep when we get this. Very much of the time. Very electro-pop. Oh, that was cool. Whoa.
현재 나의 두 손은 등잔 밑 하지만 어둡지 않아 밝게 빛나지
Woo.
흘러가는 시간의 흐름에 따라 사라지고 있어 마지막에 finally 나에게 falling 멋지게 falling following 나를 따라 천국에 문을 열지 선택은 쉬우나 후회는 아프니 현명하기 위해 내 손잡아 come to me 멀리 볼 필요 없어 내가 가까이 마주하고 있는데 왜 날 못 봐
I love that. That's cool. Destiny. That's cool. I like that. That's cool. Oh, okay, so I always have to be... I've talked about this a few times. That is that... I feel like with this particular era of K-pop, this is either like hit or miss for me. I feel like that sometimes people can do this and do it effectively and it sounds good. And then there's some people that I feel like that when they do this, it sounds a little cheesy. That's just my personal opinion. But I feel like that this is more of a... They pulled this off. And in fact, there's actually some stuff in this that I greatly prefer than most of the other kind of electro-pop, K-pop stuff that I generally hear from this era. And there's a few things that I wanted to point out that I really like. I really want to talk about this section. I think this section here is the full-blown reason why I feel like this whole song just works really well. Destiny. What I really love is that there's something about the vocals here that I really, really like. I really like how Leo comes in right here. I feel like Leo is just kind of capturing that energy that's needed, but the shift right here I think is so beautiful. Ken brings this certain softness there at the very end that really kind of just puts a little bit of extra texture on this. The whole song is really loud and it has a lot of really rough bass. So when you have Leo singing here, he's able to keep that with the crystal clear tone and keeping it really kind of at the forefront and being able to project his power. But when Ken comes in, right there, the way that he ends it, it just is so gripping because it's so soft, but yet it's not weak. There's just an extra layer added to the emotional stakes and aspect of this song. And to me, I just seriously think that this really brings it all together. So then we move forward with N. Back to Leo. And here's something I really, really like about this particular section is right here you'll hear a little bit of like I would like to call the zigzag. And I love this because he's still singing a melody, and then it does the doo-dee-dee-dee-dee like that. But on the second time around, someone joins in with that, and it just creates a little touch of life to me. There's a lot more melody in the vocals and in the kind of, I guess, the whole song than quite a few of these songs usually get. And to me, it's just, it's very important. And I feel like that it really kind of makes this song feel a little bit more human. And I think that's kind of the nicest thing about what I like about this. Is a lot of times music that tries to sound like this tries to go too far into the auto-tune, too far into like the theme and the feel and the electricity of the song. But this is kind of maintaining a human aspect that I think really, really pays off. So very cool song. I actually really like that. But anyway, let's move on. I think I probably dug way too deep into that. And here we are ending the day off with Into the Void. I'll tell you what, though, all these songs definitely have titles that are a little bit more catchy to my eye. I mean, like Blackout, Into the Void, like, yeah, we're hitting good on the names here. Oh, anyway, let's see how we end this day. Into the Void. Very experimental. Ooh. Wow. This is very good. Woo! I'm gonna come out of the right out. Let me try that again. I'm gonna come right out of the gate and just say this. This probably is a favorite song. There's something that came to my mind as to how I would describe the song, and that is controlled chaos. And you know, it has kind of this like dark, almost like smoky, like goth feel to it almost. Like it almost sounds like you'd be playing this song in the middle of like Castlevania kind of thing. But the one thing that I really, really like is that controlled chaos that I was talking about. Because you listen to this, and at first you get this, right? Ooh, it's so nice. We got that steampunk feel to it almost. And it feels like everything is asynchronized. Like, it just feels like everything is slightly off from each other. And it feels like it's this kind of delirious state, this delirious feel that everything is just kind of like, whoa, is this even like all in the same tempo? And, you know, then you have to like kind of pay attention. You start listening to it. And, like, there's so much like stuff going on. There's so much layering. And I love that because, like, as you listen to the song, you're just kind of having that delirious state here. And it just keeps that piano piece just down low enough where it's not like the main part of the song, but it's like the echo that goes throughout the whole song. And I love it because it brings a tone and like an atmosphere to this song that I think actually really, really, really benefits. You know, the song really benefits from it. It's so dramatic. I just love it. This is easily a favorite song of mine. I just love this. Like I said, it's that feeling of controlled chaos. It's really bringing out the best of just like the whole atmosphere. This to me would have been cool to see a music video for. Just like full on lean into like the dramatic vampire feel behind it. I mean, I could really, really stand to use this in an MV or MV. Yeah, a music video. I could really stand to use an MV for this song. Very, very cool. Anyway, let me know what y'all think about this, and we'll discuss this down in the comments below. Thank you, and goodbye.